Everybody, welcome to the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Harding, and today we have Michael Perry with us. He's joining us from the Perry Group, and excited to have him on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So we'll talk more about your team and stuff like that, but tell me like a little bit about yourself. How did you get into real estate? What brought you into that?
Yeah, totally. So I don't have a glamour story. For me, it was sports was everything in my world.
Yeah.
I was at Snow College playing football.
Nice. Okay.
And I tore my patellar tendon.
Okay.
And so I rehabbed that. It was spring ball and everything, and then I tore it again.
Okay.
It was the last spring practice, and it was just kind of at that day. I'm at a junior college, year 3. It's like, how far do I keep trying to push this thing?
Yeah.
So we cut the cord. My dad has been in real estate for 10 years, but he had been at that point.
Okay.
But what was really interesting for me is, it was a knee-jerk 24-hour decision. It was like, I'm not going back to school. I don't have any digs on school, but it just wasn't for me. I'm going to try real estate.
Sure.
So we're here 6.5 years later.
Okay. And obviously doing really well. So your dad obviously had an influence on you then too, then I guess, right? So he was doing it, kind of went on with him and stuff like that, I guess, right?
Yeah. So it's really interesting. He's had a massive influence on me, but he didn't have any influence on me getting in real estate, which is really interesting. It was like, hey, my dad really likes his job.
Yeah.
Should I try this?
Sure.
I don't want to say this with exact certainty, but I don't think we ever had a conversation about real estate until the day of, hey, I'm thinking about real estate.
Really? Okay. So from a dad perspective, he was pretty good about like, hey, choose your own path, son. You know, like you don't have to follow me.
Totally.
You don't have to go this route, which is good. That's that's what a good dad should do, right?
No, it was incredible because most people were like, oh, so it was in your DNA.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it wasn't. Yeah. But it turned out to be my DNA.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Well, good. Well, and you've obviously enjoyed it and stuff like that. What would you say your favorite part of what you're doing is?
It transitions. Right now, it's probably the investing and the number side mixed with team.
Sure.
Like I love people. I don't think I could do this as a solo agent.
Sure.
And I think for me is just giving opportunity to our team members and seeing how many people we can just rinse and repeat it with.
Gotcha. And that's been doing well. Again, 80 agents, right? You said, wow. Okay. So what do you think? You had a successful year last year. You're starting things off this year. What would you say is making that team successful? Like what are you contributing? I guess that's in two parts. How is your team succeeding? But then also how did you get this many people to trust you too and work for you?
Totally. For us, everything was organic. So when I got into real estate, I mentioned my dad. He was a solo agent at Keller Williams, and I got into real estate with one of my friends, Mason.
Okay.
And from the beginning, it was Mason and I, hey, we should kind of partner, do this together. So we did for the first couple months, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
And then my dad, I think a Zillow rep called him.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, would you buy leads? And us, we were like, I think Zillow gets bashed a lot.
Sure.
But at month 3 of real estate, it was like, do I want to cold call, do this many open houses? Do I want to pay for leads? So we put $1,500 together, and we did really well. And then we turned it into the 4th person and 5th person. And that's what's so cool about our story. It was organic.
Sure.
You see so many real estate models to where, hey, I have a vision of starting a team. Year 2, I'll be at 20 people. It was, hey, we think we figured it out.
Yeah.
Let's go add another person.
Yeah.
So we're at 80 people today, when 3 years ago we were at 3.
Okay, that was my question. So 3 years ago you were at 3 people. 2 years ago, where did you grow then?
Yeah. So exact time map. It was about 4 years ago. We were at 3 people.
Okay.
Then we scaled to about 10 people.
Okay.
And we then went to 30 people about 2 years ago. We were at 30 people.
Okay.
And then within 1 year we got to 100.
Oh wow. Okay.
And for that, it just got to the point, we believe in what we do so much, but we scaled too quickly.
Sure.
And so this is genuinely the first year where we're at the size we are, and we're very comfortable. on now our focus and goal is, hey, how can we just drive more deals to agents?
Sure.
Where it used to be, let's build this.
Yeah.
We built it. We're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Now you're
Now
kind of
let's
in
deliver.
okay, gotcha. Kind of the refining, I guess, kind
Totally.
of, getting things, processes better and stuff like that, I
Yep.
guess, okay, good. Well, so, as far as, so I think you've already kind of answered this as far as what motivates you. I guess that probably is people, right?
Yep.
Kind of doing that and so why do you think a lot of these agents stick with you? Why are they still working for you? What do they like? I mean, obviously you got leads and stuff like that for them, and that would be part of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like, as far as the atmosphere, or what do you think they like about it?
Yeah, I think the atmosphere it's a culture of people who love each other. We're all friends, genuinely. Most of the team is friends with each other, which I think in the real estate industry is rare.
Yeah.
It's typically like the administrator hates the agent.
Sure.
Agents have cliques.
Sure.
But I think where that comes from is culture.
Okay.
And we have a culture that I would say is very similar to what you'd see at a sports program.
Mm-hmm.
And when there was 3 of us, it was extremely competitive.
Sure.
And we all had a background of sports.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just kind of taken that sports, family, competitive to
Mm-hmm.
where we all want to win.
Sure.
But how can we have that culture without it being toxic?
Sure.
Which is a fine line.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I think people have stayed because it's a family culture, but you go to work and you want to be there, you want to win with each other.
Gotcha. So you're not necessarily fighting against each other, but yes, there's that healthy level of competition.
Yeah, yeah.
But sports, sometimes has. That's,
Yeah,
okay.
and like to give a tangible example,
Yeah.
we have all our deals go through, it's a Slack channel.
Okay.
And so every time somebody gets in under contract, it's posted, people brag on them.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
what's cool, it's like, man, Wade did that again. Or
Gotcha.
it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, this is sick. Good
Yeah.
job, Wade.
Yeah,
So it's definitely like, it's a give and take.
Gotcha. Okay. So happy yet, man, I want to do
I
better
need
too,
more.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
If he's doing it, which
Totally.
I think that is the benefit of a team sometimes is, because the market ebbs and flows, right? And I know me personally, like, I think I'm doing good, and then I look at some of my peers that I'm typically, doing at the same time. It's like, oh, okay, they're right with me, or they're ahead,
Yeah.
or they're behind. And it's like, okay, it kind of gives me a gauge, right?
Yeah,
Because
totally.
again, the market's always changing, so you can't say, oh, I'm always should be doing X amount a year, because the market changes, right?
Mhm.
And so I think that does help to have that.
That's great perspective. We learned that this year because I've been in real estate 6 years, and it was always an up market.
Sure.
So if you wanted to double your numbers, there was no excuse.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
The market didn't change.
Because you can
Pretty
always do
bad.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this year it was, oh, wow.
Oh, I guess things do go down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Sales
I guess
do stop.
Sales do
That's it.
stop. Yeah, I'm not doing as well as I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's why I like that peer-to-peer stuff where you can kind of see, okay, hey, John is doing okay, Wade, or, okay. Then I just know where I sit, right? Because I'm normally with him. This time I'm not, or this time I'm ahead, right? So
Totally.
anyhow. Well, okay. So as far as, clients and stuff like that, so obviously you're the team leader. You're still doing real estate too yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you finding, how are you getting, clients and stuff like that? Do you have a pretty good database of past clients and stuff like that, I guess, too now? And
Yeah, I have a huge database of past clients. A lot came from, my MO was open houses in the beginning because
Okay.
I didn't want to cold call,
Sure.
frankly.
Yeah.
And so I do about 4 to 5 open houses a week.
Okay.
And that's where I got a ton of clients
Sure.
and Zillow clients. And really what we've built at the Perry Group and what I've built for myself is how can I turn that one client into 3?
Yeah.
And it's not a bring them in, how can I get referrals? It's how can I get this one client into 3 deals?
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Sure.
so
Okay.
that's just kind of our math and what we built it around.
And what are you telling clients right now as far as, the market and stuff like that? I guess, and so this would be a kind of a change in, but like, what are you seeing for the market right now? I mean, good time to buy, I mean, real estate is always a good time to buy, right? But I mean, honest market assessment, of where
Yeah.
things are at, I guess, right now.
Yeah, it was in an Inman article.
Okay.
And I got slammed about 45 days ago in the comments. 'Cause
Gotcha.
I said, it's an incredible time to buy.
Okay.
And in the 6 years I've been in real estate, truly until the past 6 months, I've not thought it was a good time to buy.
Okay.
I always think it's a great time to buy as
Sure.
every lender, agent, title person, of course it's a great time to buy.
Sure, yeah.
10 years down the road.
Yeah.
But everyone can't afford that luxury. So for me, the past years have felt inflated. When people did say the bubble was going to pop, I didn't think it was going to burst, but
Sure.
it felt like something was
Something was
right
going-
around the corner.
Sure.
And it took a lot longer than I thought, but then it did happen, and there was kind of a couple months where it's like, ooh, how low are we going to go? Like, how
Yeah.
bad is this going to get? And
Yeah.
then I think we're in that period to where we've realized how bad it was going to get. In my
Sure.
opinion, we've hit it.
Okay.
And I think we're going to start to plateau or go back up. But what I don't think will exist in 6 months is the negotiating
Okay.
that you're seeing right now.
Okay.
So whether it's a buyer's or seller's market in 6 months, it could be either, but you're seeing sellers panic right now.
Sure.
So that's why I think it's a good time to buy.
So because again, that buyer can negotiate whatever they want, right now. I mean, obviously we're doing loans, real estate, not too long ago, where the sellers had every control, right? All control over the deal, multiple offers, over asking price, super close, quick times, earnest money going hard right away. That's very different now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, things have changed.
Yeah, and I give an example. Bob Plum, he's a legend in Salt Lake. He's been in the business forever. It was about a year ago I texted him. His house had been on the market 2 weeks, which was a long time
Sure.
in that world. And I said, hey, it was listed at 625. I said, would they take 600? And he said, haha, what do you think this is, 2014? And he was right. He
Sure.
sold it at what it was listed at.
Yeah.
But right now, when I say, hey, my clients are thinking about offering 50, 75 low, it's send it over.
Yeah.
To where that won't exist once everything normalizes.
Sure.
Whether we're in a seller's market or buyer's market, it's not a, hey, send over 20% below ask. Let's see what we can do.
Well, and so that I agree with that, and I think especially right now where interest rates are still relatively high long term,
Yes.
from what we look at, but the reality is those prices on the homes are cheaper than they've been in a while.
Yes.
And so you can always refinance a mortgage. You can't rebuy a house for a lower price, right?
Yeah.
You're stuck at whatever that price is,
Totally.
right? And so no, I think you're wise. I think you're right on actually. So
And to go into that a little further, because
Yeah.
I hate being the agent who says it's a good time to buy.
sure.
Because that's how many are there? 18,000 of me
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Utah?
yeah. They all want. It's all a good time to buy.
Yeah, but what I'm telling people is we very well could decrease 1 to 5%. I don't think
Sure.
it's going to happen, but we could.
Sure.
But if you can offer 10, 15% low now, who cares?
Yeah.
Because if we're in a decreasing market that's steadied,
Mm-hmm.
that is going to go away.
Yeah.
So I'd
So-
rather take advantage now.
So maybe then if somebody's looking, if somebody's trying to buy a home, live in there a year and sell it, maybe not as good for them, kind of thing, because
Totally.
as far as prices going down. But obviously but most people aren't trying to sell after a year, so if you're keeping it for say 2, 3, 5+ years kind of thing, makes more sense then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And as far as your crystal ball for the future and stuff like that, I mean, Utah's real estate market, how you feeling about it as a whole?
I think my gut is we were really inflated. Like I was looking at some of my buyers' payments
Mhm.
and it was steep. But what a lot of people don't realize is how quickly prices have come down.
Sure.
So I think we're going to plateau, go up or go down a little bit.
Okay.
But bottom of my heart, I think we're done
Okay.
with the slashing. How low are we going to go?
Yeah. Well, because we're not 07, 06, 07, we're that whole, I mean, as far from a lending perspective, it's very different loans we've been doing, right?
Totally.
I mean, they're not these, there's not a massive amount of foreclosures. There are people that are saying, hey, I'm just not going to sell.
Yeah.
I can afford this payment. I'm just not going to sell right now,
Yeah.
right? And so you're not seeing that huge inventory spike from foreclosures and stuff like that, right? That we saw back then.
And I don't think people are talking about it enough. The bottleneck of people who have interest rates from 2.5 to 4.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness. I think that saved the market. But those
Sure.
people, if they're underwater, 150,000, they are not selling.
Yeah.
But their payment is low enough to where it's
It's
not
fine.
even
Yeah.
I mean, they could lose their job, probably get laid off 6 months, go find another job, and still be able to afford it.
Yeah, yeah, no, agreed. No, I agree with that. So good stuff there. Let me shift gears a little bit here. Real estate investing. So you invest yourself.
Yep.
Tell me why. Why do you like investing in real estate? And well, let's answer that first, I guess.
Totally. My wife is super talented.
Okay.
If I did not have her from a design aspect, I don't know how heavy I would invest. So we have 2 rentals in our primary house, but where we're way more focused on is the luxury flips.
Okay.
And so, scary market.
Yeah.
Right now it's an interesting market.
Sure.
But I think we found a niche to where we do believe in the real estate in Utah, in certain areas in Salt Lake specifically, to where, like I said, we can get a home way below ask, but we can turn it and create a product to where we're not having that same buyer negotiate with us, to where we can buy a product that there's a bunch of flips.
Sure.
Houses that need to be remodeled, but there's very few high quality remodels.
Gotcha.
And we're rinse and repeat and doing it over and over. And I really do believe that the top end of the market, as far as luxury, if you compare it to a Phoenix or Denver, we're extremely undervalued.
Okay.
So that's my take.
And so you're buying these luxury homes, high-end homes, right?
Yeah.
That you're getting them at a good price, but then you're going in and throwing in how much money into them?
$100 to $500.
Okay, so good amount of money.
Yeah.
Making them better. You've been doing this for how long? The luxury fix and flip.
2.5 years.
Okay, so obviously, before the market kind of came down, probably doing great.
Yeah.
With the market changing and stuff like that, did that change?
That was terrifying.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
my wife and I, we were sitting on the couch, and we were about to list. It was a 2.6 that we just remodeled, or 2.5.
Yeah.
And it was,
Uh-oh.
in 48 hours, we're going to find out if we're actually really good at this, or if the market made us think that.
Sure, yeah.
And turns out we're good at it.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I mean, we had a house that we bought in 2021 October, listed in 2022 of October.
Okay.
And if you look back, that was probably the worst month
Yeah.
out of the past 6. I mean, it was dark.
Yeah.
Inventory wasn't stopping. Rates weren't stopping.
Yeah.
So we sold it.
And
Yeah.
And made money still?
Yeah.
Okay. So what advice would you give somebody, somebody that's looking at investing in real estate? What advice would you give, to somebody just wanting to get started, kind of thing? Is the fix and flip a way to go? Do you like long-term hold, because you said you have 2 rentals yourself, right? So you're obviously holding long-term too, right? So you're doing both.
Yeah.
What do you like about either one? What would you recommend to kind of a normal, person looking at doing this?
I don't have a preference. Where I would say to start is on your own. So do a single family flip or do a duplex. But I think most important, the advice I'm giving to people, if they're saying, hey, I have money, I want to invest, don't touch it until you spend a year fully understanding how real estate transacts, market patterns. And that's where I've made all my money.
Sure.
It's not running cap rates. I can genuinely say I understand the market I transact in better than probably 99% of people.
Okay.
To where that's why I don't love multifamily. It's a great investment. You can pitch me on it 10 times over. I'll agree with you. It's probably smarter.
Sure.
But I don't know it.
Yeah.
And so I'm staying away right now.
Sticking with things you know.
Yep.
And so now, is that something that your clients can leverage from you? Say, hey, hey, talk to me. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, come talk to me, and I'll help you kind of get into that.
Yeah.
So you do train your clients, or at least help them. Kind of like, hey, here's what I recommend. Here's what I would do.
Yeah, totally. And that's where it started. So I had a couple clients who loved flipping, and I started to send them deals to where they didn't like them for some reason. and I was pulling my hair out.
Sure.
Like, you can make so much money on this.
Sure.
And it kind of just got to the point, wait, why am I not doing this?
Sure. Why? Yeah. Okay. You're not going to do it. I'll do it instead. Okay. Yeah.
So 2018. So I guess it's been 4 years.
Okay.
So
4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm guessing, short term. So what's your, and one last question on that part. So you buy a house, you sell it, turn times, what's your turn times there?
Don't really care. It's, if it's high end, it's a year. If we do it quicker, awesome. But I've kind of reeled in my expectations. I want to do everything overnight. But if you want to sell a multi-million-dollar house, you can't do it overnight.
Sure.
To where if you're doing a mid-range flip, I mean, I am on the gas pedal. We've done them in 21 days to where we bought, fixed it, flipped it, sold it.
Wow. Okay.
And then the thing I'm very interested in, we were talking before this, is short-term rental.
Yeah.
If you understand design, I think you can do really well, and you understand market patterns.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to dabble in that territory.
Well, I found, so I haven't done flips. I've done long-term rentals and I've done short-term rentals, but I haven't done flips in part just because I don't know why I haven't done it, but I've thought about it. Yeah, I mean, it's just more time consuming, right? I think that's probably what it is. Yeah. But nightly rentals, I will say, you make more money. They're more work though. I mean, obviously, because you've got constant change of renters and stuff like that. But one of the big benefits is, hey, you have a place you can take your family to, right? You know what I mean? Like these luxury homes or the long-term rentals, besides money, there's no other benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice to say, hey, let's go, spend some time up in, Island Park or St. George or wherever, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to this place, Florida, right? Some people have in Florida, but that's some of the benefits I think of that, right?
Yeah, and that's what's so intriguing to my wife and I. It's because we got to the point where we're going to buy a house in St. George or Arizona, and I guess we'll just leave it vacant. And I'm not doing that. That's burning so much money. And then the other thing was, do we want to do short-term rental, or do we just want to rent a place? And we got to the point where it's, hey, we're just going to rent a place for a couple months. And I was like, I can't blow that either.
I know. No, that's the practical. You're similar to me in that. That's why I have a hard time. That's because I was like, some of these houses I don't think I would rent because it's like, it's too expensive. I'll just do that. But that was the benefit of buying these houses is I had the chance to say, okay, now we can go, and it's because I'm too cheap. Even though I have money, I'm too conservative on it sometimes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I would never own a second home just by itself without renting it, because it seems like such a waste of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you can rent it out, well, now that makes sense, and then other people get to enjoy it too, right? And so, anyhow, it's been good in that regard. Well, good. Well, okay. So, switching gears a little bit to agents. Let's talk to agents and stuff like that. Obviously, you have 80 agents. What advice are you giving your agents right now as far as the market goes? How are you keeping them motivated? Like, hey, things are slower right now. Obviously, most of them maybe have never had a down market, right, where things have slowed down. But what advice are you giving your agents right now?
I think it's an opportunity, and I think it's fun. And whether this is like twisted, sick-minded of me, as a real estate agent, my back has never been pressed against the wall.
Okay.
I've never had hard times in this real estate in the 6 years.
Sure.
And I think it's really fun to be able to say, hey, the work I get in, the results will be tenfold. And what I really do believe in, what I'm telling the agents, if you can come out of this market very successful, you'll be the go-to for decades if you want to be.
Sure.
And to where that wasn't the case the past 2 years. It was still hard work, but if you could talk to people, if you were present on social media, you could sell a house, and that's like, cool.
Yeah.
Who cares now?
Yeah.
And so it's gotten hard.
Yeah.
But I like the hard of that.
Are you seeing a lot of agents get out of the industry then?
No.
Okay.
There's crazy talks of it.
Sure.
I mean, everyone is saying 35% are going to leave.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it yet.
So you just haven't seen it on your team, or you haven't seen it at all? Like,
I would say a combo. I mean, we've definitely had some leave, but it's people who I would have predicted to leave a year ago.
Okay.
What's your take?
I mean, we're starting to see some agents, we are seeing some, I would say, take on other jobs. They're not necessarily not renewing their license, but it's saying, hey, I got to feed my family, so I'm going to go work at,
Which that's step one out the door.
kind of step one out the door, right? So are they necessarily, letting their license lapse? I guess no, technically no.
Yeah.
But I am seeing, because you can't survive forever without a paycheck, right? Yeah. And some of these guys just, so they are, I am seeing a little bit of that, I guess. Yeah. Whether that continues and stuff like that, I guess, we had quite a few agents for a little while there, so I think things coming down is, same thing with lenders. I'm seeing, lenders get out of business
lenders
too. Do you know what I mean?
Crazy.
So which kind of, you said sick-minded, that's kind of my thought too, where it's like, hey, the benefit is there's less competition, right? So again, the strong survive. Totally. Those that are actually, hey, this is a career-minded individual that's like, no, I'm in here long haul, right? I've been doing loans for 16 years now, right? So it's like, I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? We use these downtimes to kind of refine processes and say, okay, what can we do better? What can we do, change, as far as employees go, should we get rid of this guy? Anyhow, I don't think the downturns are always bad.
I think it's opportunity.
I think it's opportunity.
I think 08's different because it smacked a lot of people and
totally
smacked a lot of people who were really smart with money.
Yes.
This is like,
yeah,
they're going to survive.
Well, I think you're right. Yeah, no, you're right on. As far as people that any advice you have for sellers that are selling the home? You said, hey, right now they're doing a lot of things to negotiate, but so is it a bad time to sell, or what advice are you giving sellers?
Yeah, honest advice, and I think if you can, it's twofold. If you can wait a couple months to where you truly don't need to sell your house for the next 5 years, I would wait, because there is the other side that things could continue to go bad.
Sure.
So if you don't have to move, you're not relocating, I would hold out to the spring.
Okay.
But the other side of that scenario, and this was a conversation I just had, was inventory's going down right now. There's not a ton of rhyme or reason why.
Okay.
I think it's a really good glimpse to sell. I'm hoping it becomes more of a seller's market, or more balanced. But the advice I'm giving to sellers is, if your home is vacant, you probably can't sell it. If it's dirty, you probably can't sell it. Your home, now to get a buyer in the door, has to be the best looking one on the block.
Gotcha.
Where
sure.
it was, hey, this is my only option. I guess I'm going to look at it.
Yeah.
And I'll guess I'll offer on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's nothing else out there, right?
Yeah. And we have a house that we did that it's beautiful, and it's getting offers and getting buyers through, but it's still a struggle.
Sure.
And it's the nicest house on the block. It's the nicest presented. So my advice is, if you're not capable of doing those things,
sure, maybe hold
tough road.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, that's good advice. What about for people that are wanting to build a home? Is it what are you advising them? With maybe a year horizon there, kind of thing.
Building's never been my thing. I work in a super historical old area where the homes turn really quick.
Okay.
I think if you're building right now, if you're starting building, just know what you're walking into. You could walk into 100,000 of equity by the time you're done, because the market could recover.
Sure.
Or you kind of saw what happened to a lot of people. They went in not prepared, probably didn't talk to their lender, the interest rates, hey, what happens if they double?
Yeah. Now this and I don't qualify.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of thing.
So
right?
12 months is a really long time, and I think we've seen about 4 market cycles in the past 12 months. I don't think we'll see that again.
Sure.
But the other side is there's a ton of builders who are trying to get things off the books, to where I think there's immense opportunity.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So if you're buying a nationwide builder, I'm probably going after them.
Okay.
We all know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're trying to get everything off the books.
Yeah.
Local builder, it's just know what you're walking into. They're going to be a little more stingy.
Okay. All right. Good advice. Okay. Well, so kind of as we conclude here, I guess, what as far as people finding you and stuff like that, if they want to work with you, individually, especially, on the investing side, kind of pick your brain on that kind of stuff, how do people get a hold of you? You know.
Best is Instagram.
Okay.
I think most of us are saying it by now. Instagram, and that will obviously lead to either a cell phone or Zoom
Sure.
or email conversation.
Okay, so pick you up there. Okay, awesome. Okay, well, anything else we didn't hit, or anything else you wanted to talk about before
No, thanks for having me.
Okay.
I think it's a really exciting time in real estate, opportunity for buyers.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a journey.
Well, no, thank you, Michael. Appreciate you coming on, and appreciate talking to you. And again, I think you're right. I think it is a good opportunity, a good time. You know, things are changing, and whenever there's change, it's scary, but ultimately, I think it's good. You
Totally.
know, or at least it can be. So, but
Yeah, and I guess that is something I'll say. We had Josh Romney in, and I'm not going to quote him word for word, but it basically was, you want to be buying when everyone is sidelined.
agreed.
And I think most people, whether you have money or don't have money, are sidelined
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And it's just, can you actually do think you can time it right now?
Yeah.
So,
Nope, I think you're right. Good advice. Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody else for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for, you can like us, subscribe us, write a testimonial. Thank you. We appreciate all those kind of things.
Please.
So yes, please do that. So helps people find us. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.